Hey, everybody, it's me, Bill Rigby here, in the Agents of the Unexplained studio. Tonight, we're going to have Denny Vigalo from Strange Kinzu, and it's strange up there, believe me. He has a lot of information to give. We're going to have Dan Hagman joining up because Dan's been up there with Denny a few times when a lot of this strange stuff happening. Um, Dan's just getting online. He's taking care of some other business, but he's join us as soon as he can. Um, but we're definitely going to have Denny telling us about his experiences. He's doing Bigfoot, UFOs, portals. Uh, he told me a lot about it already, so I'm going to get him going here in a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and have him explain everything. He has a lot of great information. I've been up to his place just the one time, but we didn't really get out to investigate. And I'm going to get back up there. I don't know how soon. We're going to find out. With my wife's surgery coming up, it's going to be kind of tough. We don't really want to go up during the winter, but we will. Denny is on the phone with Dan, so something's going on there. Houston, do you have a problem? No. Yes, Denny got him. He's on mute right now because Dan's talking on the other end of the phone with someone else, and Denny's listening in. But as I said, Denny had this experience with Bigfoot up there and had experiences with the UFOs up there at Kinzu, portals. It just totally amazes me. I seen pictures, and unfortunately, I couldn't see exactly what the heck's going on there. Other than, I saw what was going on, but I couldn't explain it. And good evening, everyone. I got to do this. I got to bring up that one and see here. Why ain't that? All right. Boom. I should be on here somewhere. I don't see my live feed. Oh, there we are. Got my live feed going. Tim's there. Mike Hartman, Ron Strock, 3 others are watching with us. Hey, Denny, go ahead and unmute, bud. Let's get you going. And
hello.
Here's our strange Kinzu, Denny Vigalo. Denny, you definitely,
Dan,
got a lot of activity up there. And I'm very interested, and I know these people are too.
Okay, well, we're on live, so what I'm going to do is I'll leave this up and yell when you got it, or it'll probably flash on. So, okay, I'm ready.
All right. Now, you had tons of pictures you showed me when I was up there. You had a lot of different activities up there. And we saw a bunch of different things just on your property alone. So start explaining some of the stuff.
Did you like the tree thing? The tree.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah.
Explain that. Explain that to the people.
Well, I will have some pictures to post, but I mean, is what I got is I have a tree structure on the property down in our woods. We have 38 acres, and I've heard knock noises and I've heard the screaming sounds. So, and the thing is, at the first time I thought he may be around when we first come up here and had our before we had our barn built. Just after just after they build it, I went out back of the barn and I found, I think it was about a 14-inch foot track in the mud there. And I thought, well, maybe it was one of the Amish people, that built it. Well, then like about 2 or 3 months down the road, before we put the cement in the garage, right in our garage was another foot track in the dirt, because it was all dirt before we did that. And the thing is, and several times I've been outside working, and it's been after the sun's got down, it's gotten real quiet and different things. And then I hear these owls, which could be owls. I can't say they weren't, but they were answering one another. And the funny thing about it, it was shortly thereafter, as I took pictures, something left me a present in our carport, and these were big rocks. Rocks that no little kid could do it, and my neighbor don't believe in that stuff. I don't think anyway.
You showed me that pictures. You showed me those pictures of the rocks in that when I was up there.
Yeah, I even
those rocks. Yes, the rock was huge. It was huge. No kid did it. It was no little stone. It was a large rock. And like he said, he's going to be posting these pictures. Go ahead.
Not only that, but they were put right on the riding lawnmower, on the thing right by the riding lawnmower. And the first time there was two, and then there was another one at it. So I've got 3 of these rocks that just come into the garage by them, the carport by themselves. And I know darn well it wasn't, like I said, I don't think the neighbor believes in that, and he went do something like that.
No, but they're gifting. That's what they've done. Hello, Nikki. Nikki Pollard's here with us.
When you said Nikki, I thought you met my wife.
No. No, she'll smack me if I drag her into this conversation. But no, seriously, Nikki had a Class A sighting between Seward and Johnstown, Indiana, and Cambria County. And hey, our buddy Norm Domek's with us too.
Hey, Norm.
But yeah, we're now with those stones. I believe they were gifting to you, is what they were doing. They wasn't throwing them against the house or the garage or anything. So I believe they were gifting.
Well, it was like tonight. Now, they could have been just anything. I'm not saying that's what it was, but we just got back from doing a benefit DJ thing. And when we got back, we were emptying the car, and I heard 2 knocks coming from down in the woods. And I asked my wife, she said she didn't hear it, but I said, but that was distinct. I said, but they could have been anything. I'm open. I'm not saying everything I hear is, the real thing, but it just was kind of odd.
Right. Well, we heard that knock when we were there, along with that structure.
Yeah.
And that structure was different. That was different. Yeah. And I'm studying structures more and more. And now
you need a little more time.
Yes.
You need a little more time to study that structure there, to see if it is or isn't, whether it's down trees, or I don't think down trees usually don't fall like that.
No. And number 1 and number 2, I was looking close at it, even though we were only there for like 5-10 minutes, if that. And I was looking at the way the branches were all laid in there, and tucked in with each other. That was not just falling down like that. That was built. I ain't saying it was the big guy that did it. I ain't saying it was the little green man that did it. I don't know, but that was built, and
Yeah.
that wasn't just thrown together by some kids either, or a hunter to use as a blind, which he ain't allowed to do. But
No, neither one of them, because the kids are all grown up in around, and there's no, we're just far enough away from our neighbors and stuff that
yes,
there's no little kids, is what I'm saying.
no,
And
and
there is a hunting blind down there, but it's a regular building that they built. It's not a, not a blind.
yep. I miss Barb. Barb Strock joined us.
Oh, good. Hello, everybody.
But, not just right there on your property, you've had all these experience with the Bigfoot and that, and the strange occurrences, but you go up around Kinzu Dam. Yeah. Denny is from Warren, PA area. And of course, you ask Denny if it's easier to find Bigfoot if we go into the woods naked. Norm's doing that taco. Naked, yes. Norm wants to know. You ain't getting me on this one, Norm. He did that the last time. Tacos ain't asking all that.
Have a taco day up there. Yeah. No, actually, you laugh about it, but the first, well, there's been so many things that happened, but the first really good encounter that we had is we used to go up, my cousin and I, and we get a bucket of that Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I don't know, the thing up there in Kinzu just must like Kentucky Fried Chicken. And the funny is, the first time that we had our chicken, he had this nylon tape, and he strung it from one area to the other, and honest to God, I know it was 10 foot in the air, and I would say just before it got daylight, I heard some noise, but I didn't, I knew nothing was really going to get the chicken, was too far up. Get up in the morning, honest to God, I swear to you on a stack of Bible, there was no chicken in that bucket. We had a 15-piece bucket at the time, and I think we each had 3 pieces, and so that's
9
that's 6, yeah, 9 pieces gone, no trace of them. The bucket's still sitting there. That didn't rip the bucket down, and it was gone. It worked better though. So
I wonder if they like churches. Take churches, maybe they won't eat it, and you can no. But Denny already knows I like to joke a little bit. But yeah, but you can't honestly say that was a Bigfoot that took it either.
No, but I mean, that high in the air.
Yeah, it makes you really wonder.
Well, if it would have been a bird, I'm sure there would have been scraps on the ground. Exactly. And there were no scraps. There was no bones, anything. It was completely gone.
And if it was a bear, bear would have climbed. It would have ripped everything to shreds.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going with everybody. You just don't know. Hello, Diane Dunn. Michael Anthony's out here too. Thank you guys for joining up with us. The thing is, and this is something I always tell everybody, you got to deduct the whole situation. What could have done it? And that's why I was saying, like I said, you can't say it was a Bigfoot, but you can't say it was a bear either, because a bear would have shredded that bucket. They're made of cardboard. And a raccoon would have ripped it apart, getting it down. Birds, they would have made a mess of it.
I'm sure we would have heard something too, squawking.
Yep. Yep. Very
The,
much
the
so.
other, like I say, the other thing it was puzzling was it was a good 10 feet in the air, and it was strung there. It was strung from one tree to the other, and there was at least 25, 50 feet in between the two trees, and
Oh.
it wasn't like overhead. No, it wasn't over. We put the bucket in the middle, so that's why I said
Oh.
that makes it a
Oh,
little
that
bit
makes it,
different.
yeah, it makes a big difference. Big
Yeah,
difference.
it was. You were thinking we just tied it and hoisted it up. No, it
Yeah.
went from one tree to the other, and it was centered. He knew that
Interesting.
this thing was there. He never told me anything about it. I just had to, when things would happen, I just kind of look at him and say, "What the hell?" You know, why
Yeah,
didn't you say
exactly.
anything? He said, "Oh, you probably wouldn't have come if I would have told you what he'd seen it. He knew it was there." There were a couple nights. There were a couple nights. I swear to you that uh, it was scary. Not in the Bigfoot idea, but we were up there one night camped, and there's a gravel. There was. It's not no longer. I could never figure out why he would go up and he would either hollow out a tree or dig a hole and get one of those small ice bucket things so you can cover it.
Right.
And the places he would bring me always had one. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 up there that he had, and there'd be guns in them. And I'd ask him, "What the hell you need a gun for?" Kind of curious. Well, we were up there one night, and it actually scared the crap out of me. We heard this high pitched screaming noise, and I looked at. We just got the fire built up, and it's about 11:30 at night, and you could hear this thing coming close, and you could hear stuff going on. Next thing I know, he's beating out the fire, put out the damn fire, handed me a gun with a clip on it. He says, "Here's the keys. I'll hold it off." I said, "What the hell are you
Uh,
talking? This Bigfoot." I said, "It's Bigfoot." He said, "Oh, no. No. He says, "Bigfoot has a different cry in this one." Now, this is exactly what he told me. He handed me this gun, an extra clip in the car keys, and he said, "Don't come back until morning or until you get help." He says, "I'll hold whatever this off." Well, luckily we were quiet. We hid in this little gully, and we heard this thing run by the path, which was probably, I would say, 50, 60 feet from us. And we heard a deer square away. You know how they square away and make that funny
yep.
noise? And
Yep.
we heard this and no more. And then this thing went back. You could hear it going back. He says,
It,
"We got to get the hell out of here." He says, he's whispering
it,
now. He says, "We
right.
got to get the hell out of here." And he says, "The problem is," he says, "that wasn't Bigfoot." I said, "Oh, what the hell?" He says, "We're going. I'll explain to you when we get down to the car." Okay. Because we could hear it walking, and it got out of hearing range.
Was it bipedal walking or was it on
Two
fours?
legs, whatever it was on 2 legs.
No.
I said, "Okay, now what the hell was that?" I said, "Man," he says, "you aren't going to believe me if I told you." I said, "Well," I said, you had me going back there." I said, "It's kind of scared me a little." I said, "What the hell was that?" He says, "Okay." He says, "I'm going to tell you." He says, "If you ever hear this noise again," he says, "be real still and don't make a sound." I said, "Okay, what is it?" He says, "Whether you believe me or not," he says, "I've seen it in the daylight and I've seen it twice." He says, I said, "Yeah." I'm looking at him, "Okay." He says, it doesn't belong here." I says, what are you talking about? Doesn't belong? He says, "I'm going to tell you what it was." He says, "You're not going to believe it." He says, "It's prehistoric." I said, "What?" He says, "There's a portal, evidently." He said, "This thing runs on 2 legs. It runs like hell." And he says, "There ain't no way I could outrun it." He said, but he said, "It doesn't belong here. It's from another time." Well, at first I thought, well, this guy's crazy. I thought he was just pulling my leg. But I heard this, and I knew damn well that I heard this noise. So many years down the road. It was on a Black Friday. I had a friend up here. He stayed overnight in the house with me, and we went up there. You just go by a place they call Rimrock, and then there's a pull off on the right hand side where they did logging, and then there's the fence that goes way back. Yeah. Well, the fence. I'm going to tell you now, they changed the fence direction, so it loops right around back to the front again. It brings you right back out. So evidently the government or something changed the course of that and made that damn thing swing back around so you wouldn't go down there. So we're walking along. It's about 45 degrees out. It's a partly sunny day. I can see it just like it was just yesterday. We're walking along, and in front of us, there's a snowbank. Now, you have to understand, I said it was actually almost too cold to snow because it wasn't really, really cold. And it's a snow. It's snowing down from one side of the hill to the other. Not where we are. It's just going straight across, straight across.
Right.
And it's kind of weird. We walked into this snowbank thing, and it was snowing so hard that if you held your hand out in front of you, it was almost hard to see. Then we come out of this thing. There's no snow or anything. And we're honest to God, I swear to you, Bill, we're looking at cave dwellings, cave ladders. You could see the ladders going up to these holes. And the guy says, let's go, let's go check these out. I says, no. He says, why? I says, they don't belong here. He says, I'm looking at them. I says, I understand that. I says, I've been up here too many years now. I said, I've walked this path a good 100 times. I said, those don't belong here. I said, and he was persistent, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I tell you what, we'll go, I'll show you where the circle area is. And that's got a bunch of stories to itself. I says, which is probably 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes from the area, or maybe a little bit more, who knows. But I said, we'll go there. I'll show you that. Then we're going to come back. And then
Hey, look,
I said, but
look who we got, Denny. Look who we got. Mr.
Good
Dan.
evening, gentlemen.
Denny was telling us about.
Can you hear us, Dan? I think I turned that off.
I hear you.
Can you hear us, Dan? Oh, holy shit.
Yes.
Everyone,
We're
Dan
blessed.
Hagman.
Dan's been with us when there's been some strange things going on up there. But like I said, to this day, I haven't found it, but I know the general area because, like I said, they actually took the path and whipped it so it come right back to the beginning to where the main road is. And I think I found the other entrance back down into it. Dan, that's the place where, remember, you seen that creature that we blew up?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's the path that I get near that path. If I'm by myself, I get the heebie-jeebies. I usually don't get scared, but
what did this creature look like?
What would you call it, Dan? It was we have it on film.
I'll tell you.
It looked like it.
Go ahead, Denny.
No, go ahead, Dan. Dan, go ahead.
I honestly, there was definitely something there that, as far as describing it, I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, if you blow up the picture, which Dan will tell you, if you blow the picture up, it actually looks like there's appendages coming out the side of it, and it looks like it's got a shell type to it, don't it, Dan?
You're talking about the one that big
Had
tree that had fallen over. If you look at it immediately, you know what a mole cricket looks like. Or for those listeners that are tuned in, the picture looks like a mole cricket.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, if in the event that's what it would be, I would not want to be anywhere near that thing because it's as big as a man. If you take and you zoom in on it, you put the picture up on a big screen TV, and you zoom in on it, you can actually see muscular in the arm. You can
Right.
see the elbow. You follow it down to where you can actually see a hand with digits, and you can see part of a leg. You can see the knee where it is bent. Uh, it possibly could be a juvenile Bigfoot, but definitely, most definitely, it's bizarre.
Oh man. Oh yeah. That gave me the creeps. Um, wow. Um,
Not that.
we got we got several people. Norm says hi to you, Dan. Um,
Hey Norm, how you
a-
doing?
and Norm wants to know was it reptilian?
I'll tell you what. Yeah, it definitely looks like it could be reptilian.
Okay.
I don't know, Denny.
I
If
think
if you haven't done so, Denny, you need to send Bill that picture, and he can blow it up
I
and
will
take
do
a
that.
look at it.
yes,
I'll tell
please
you what.
do.
You'll have to let us know what you make of it, Bill.
Oh, I will. You know I will, Dan. Um,
Oh,
but
okay, Norm. Tell Norm it's in those pictures that he set up for this conference. There's a circle on it around the creature, whatever it is. It's in those pictures that he helps me set up for the conference. Okay.
oh, cool.
Oh.
Yeah. Make sure you send that to me too, Denny, because I got to check this out. This thing it gave me the chills, and I ain't lying. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. You got to
There's
blow
so
it
many
up, though.
strange. I will. We've got so many strange things out in this world that a lot of people have not experienced. To me, we got to. Wow, I got to see this. But now,
It
would you
should be on
say?
Strange Kinzu pictures.
Would you say that could have been alien type, or was it prehistoric?
My guess is
Well,
prehistoric. Dan, it's up to you, buddy.
Your mind will run rampant once you take an in-depth look at this thing. Uh, you're going to be bewildered. It could be reptilian. It could be prehistoric. Like I said, whatever it is, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the thing. I mean, it's bizarre. It is really bizarre. You know, when you zoom in on it and you see that arm, you immediately see, you know, how not so much a woman, but a man's arm, where you have from the
That
shoulder to the elbow, and you can see the muscle.
right.
You know, if it's you clearly see that bulge, that muscle, and you can definitely see that on this creature, whatever it is.
Oh my god, that's just freaky. That's just freaky. I definitely
You
got
know
to
what?
see this. Hey, I don't know if Mike Anthony is still watching or not. Beth, if he is, if he ain't, tell him to come to the agents page because Facebook kind of went down, but the agents, well, the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project page went down on me on the broadcast. The agents is still up. And Denny, if you don't mind, I'll share that with Michael Anthony too.
I don't care who you share it with,
All right.
because I got the original.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you all the credit. You guys get the credit. That's not from me. It's from you guys.
I wish there were a way you could pull that up and put it on here. I mean, it'll blow your mind. It really will.
I got to upgrade this stream for me to be able to do that. I just found out tonight why it wouldn't let me. They said I got to pay more money. It's all about the greenbacks. unfortunately. I'm going to check into another streaming service. But what I'm trying to still wrap my head around is how you described it. It's just, I got to see the picture. But anyhow, what other strange occurrences did we have up there, guys?
Well, go ahead. Tell them about that time we were up there and you seen the ball of light and the Bigfoot cry, the knocking noise.
Well, up by the, it's an
Upper
area
Reservoir.
called the Upper Reservoir.
Yeah.
For those of you that are listening that are familiar with Kinzu Dam, the Upper Reservoir is gigantic. I do believe that it's 80 billion gallons of water. That's how much this thing holds. It's over a mile across. It's a big circle, and I guess it's a cone-shaped reservoir. We're talking 80 billion gallons of water. So that thing is immense. It was about this time of the year, and the weather very unpredictable. You know, it was almost like sleet. It would come down and quit, then it would come down and it would quit. You'd get just wet enough, and it was cold. It was cold. And you'd get just wet enough that when the wind would pick up, you know, you had goosebumps, and, you know, you'd be trying to figure a way to keep warm. And we were getting ready to wrap it up. We're getting ready to leave. We were standing in the parking area of the Upper Reservoir. Now, the Upper Reservoir is to our backs. It's up over a hill behind us. Across to the right of us is probably, what would you say, 5 or 6 football field size field, Denny?
Well, at least 2 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
it was pretty big.
Very large field area, and then at the edge of that is a very dense tree line. And all of a sudden, this bluish white, and when I say blue, kind of like a cobalt blue, light came up out of the ground, and it was about 4 feet from the ground. The best way I can describe it, without you guys seeing a picture of it, these round mirrors, about the size of a dinner plate, or a little bit bigger, flat, and somebody holding the spotlight to reflect out of the mirror. Absolutely no sound. This thing started zigzagging back and forth, coming toward us where we were standing in the parking lot. And when it got probably 25, 30 yards away from us, it just fragmented and dematerialized. And I was fortunate enough to get a picture of it on my cell phone. There was no sound associated with it whatsoever. And of course, different speaking engagements that I've been out to speak, that's one of the pictures that I show when I talk about strange Kinzu. And after the conference or after my presentation, I'd have guys coming up to me introducing themselves, jotting down a lot of what I was saying at the time I gave my presentation.
Right.
And they were coming up to me and they said, well, you know, I'm so-and-so. Nice to meet you. Da-da-da-da. You were probably wondering what I was writing down as you were speaking. And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, curious. And they looked at me and they said, when you described that light, you showed the picture of it. Around the outer edge was serrated, almost like a circular spotlight. And it was cobalt blue, and then as you went in toward the center, it was just like if you shined a spotlight in a mirror, tremendously bright. And they said plasma. That's what that blue represented to them. That this was plasma or something that was consistent with the makeup of plasma.
Plasma. Okay.
And they said, the way you described it, just very, very bizarre to say the least. As far as what it was, I've not a clue. But there was another incident that same evening in that same area. We were up there, another individual that he won't go up there anymore. I mean, he just literally dropped off the face of the earth.
Oh,
This
wow.
individual, to know him, you could see it, a glow in his eyes. It was just, UFO and cryptids, and he'd travel around all over the country to these national UFO conferences. And, he just lived for this stuff. And after one or two visits to Kinzu, he changed his cell phone number. He changed his home phone number. We managed to get a hold of his dad, and his dad said he's not into it anymore. He doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. Don't call anymore. And
it affected him really bad.
Real bad.
Well,
Denny and another one of Denny's friends, they made
Jim.
a makeshift pyramid, and they'd hang a crystal in the center of it, and you would take and sit underneath it and meditate. Brian was sitting underneath this thing, and I was to Brian's left, and all of a sudden he reached over and he grabbed me by the arm and he started screaming, look, and he's pointing, and I looked, and there's another ball of light. It just silently sailing upward, and as soon as it cleared the tops of the trees that were to our right, it fragmented in close to 100 different pieces, and pieces flew off in every direction. And again,
Wow.
I was fortunate enough to get a picture of the ball of light. The picture where it's fragmented, that didn't turn out. But the ball of light, I have it on my cell phone as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Again,
Awesome.
Again, there was absolutely no sound whatsoever. If Brian wouldn't have been looking, we would have never seen it.
Right.
And of course, Denny and Jim, they went down over the hill, this access road for the workers up at Kinzu. They went down in there to do some wood knocks, and they went down in quite a ways and radioed up and said, "Buddy, we're gonna do 3 knocks." So they did 3 knocks. And then they radioed back, "Did you hear it?" And no, we didn't hear it. Nothing responded. We didn't hear you knock. We're gonna try it again. So again, they did 3 wood knocks, and again, nothing. So we're sitting there, and they radioed up. We're gonna do some whoops. Count to 3. Next thing, we could hear whoop, whoop, whoop. And as soon as those guys finished that 3rd whoop, immediately, I mean right now, way out to our left, something responded. The hair stood right up off the back of my neck. Brian looked at me, and his eyes were as big as saucers. And I said, "Did you hear that, Brian?" He says, "Yeah, I heard that. That wasn't a dog. That wasn't a coyote. I don't think that the time of night that it is, that wasn't, a human being answering back." And about that time, Denny and Jim radioed up, and we're going to do it again. Count of 3. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And again, instantaneously, something up to our left responded. The only thing is, this time it was a hell of a lot closer. And at that point, I mean, when I say closer, I'm like right there. And we looked and we're shining a flashlight. We couldn't see anything. We didn't get any eye shine. you could hear something moving through the dense vegetation. And about that time, probably 8-10 minutes had transpired. And of course, Denny and Jim come back up from where they were, and we told them what had happened. Just blow your mind, absolutely blow your mind.
Yeah. I'll tell you a little experience I had out here at the reservoir when I went walking in. Usually I speak like, hey, it's me. I'm here. I'm coming in peace. I'm just coming to hang out with you guys, not causing no harm, no troubles. And well, this time I walked in without saying nothing. Nothing. I just walked in. And I had a bunch of stuff on my mind. I just wanted to get out in the woods anyhow. I get down to almost down the trail, which is, I go way far down the trail, and then I hook into the woods and cut across a ravine and go out over and all this. Well, I'm right near where I cut into the woods, and I swear it was a 3-foot around tree hitting a 6-foot around tree next to me, which there wasn't one there. That's how loud that knock was. And it's like, it made me jump. It's like, oh, shoot. Hey, it's just me, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't let you know I was coming in. I didn't mean to upset you. I'm just coming to hang out with you. And I waited to see if they'd knock again. They didn't. I waited maybe 10 minutes before I cut into the woods. And then I cut in, crossed the ravine, went to the area I always sit. There was no birds, no peepers, no noise, no nothing. So I know something was there watching me. And I know they were upset with me too for not saying, hey, I'm here. Yeah. And so, yeah, that stuff, yeah, it gets kind of hairy at times. And I always let my family know where usually I'm going when I'm going alone. And so they know just in case something does happen.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Right, exactly. So that taught me a lesson about going in my one area that I always got to talk to them so they know it's me. And because they're getting used to me coming in there all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Yes. Denny, let's talk about the portals.
Well, this is what I wanted to get.
About that, buddy.
I'm going to tell you about Brian in the portal. All right. No last names to be there. This actually happened. And I warn, when I go into these woods, when I know there's a portal or something there, I always warn them, stay close. If we get separated and a portal opens, stay put. And Brian was with me. And I said, he was asking questions. I said, you'll know when the portal's going to open. I said, because it gets deadly quiet. I says, that's the one thing. And I says, the other thing is, watch your path. I said, when I say watch your path, I mean, is what happens is the path, you'll be able to actually see with your own eyes the path fading away. You can see this as it fades away. So Brian and I are in there. And I said, Brian, I says, keep your eyes open. I says, sometimes you get that feeling. I said, it just could happen. I says, the path will fade and you will, the scenery completely changes in front of you. It's not just the path that does, but the whole, everything around you changes. So we're there and all of a sudden, where's the path? I said, I says, we're going to have to get close to where we come in. But I said, we're not going to be able to get out of it until this thing closes. I says, but to make sure that we didn't get off anywhere and I'm off kilter, I says, the only time you can make a cell phone call out of here is when that's open. Other time, this is a dead spot. I said, when that damn thing opens up, I says, anywhere you're near that, you can actually call out a cell phone if it doesn't work any other time. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll call my wife. And I says, if she says it's crystal clear, I says, it's open. I said, but I knew it was open, but I was trying to. Now you have to understand, he was panicking. He was so damn scared. He was praying. He actually was on it. And I'm not making fun of him, but I mean, he was on his knees praying to God. He says, don't let anything happen. I said, Brian, I said, nothing's going to happen. We're going to stay put. Everything will be fine. I said, if we start moving around, I says, then we're free game to whatever elements might be out there. And I said, don't move. Well, crystal clear call to my wife in an area that you can't call out. And Dan will vouch that he brought his thing in there, his meter, and it pegged in the area. I don't know what they call it, but it pegged anyway. And I told Brian, I said, Brian, we got to stay put, because I mean, he is in complete panic. I tried everything calming down. Well, another thing will happen is sometimes there'll be another path or an area that opens up that you never usually see. Well, here's this thing, it opens up and here's a path. And Brian says, there's the path. I said, no, that path, that's not a path that belongs here. He said, well, we got to follow it. I said, no, we follow the path. Now follow the finger. The path goes this way, and then it loops around and does a 360 and heads almost directly back to where we were going. I said, we come out of the woods. Honest to God, it blew my mind, but I know he was afraid to do anything. We come out of the path and I had no idea where we were. I said, I says, we should have been back to where we were. I mean, we only walked 2 or 3 minutes and did this loop. So I find these markers. They have markers in the woods, path markers. I said, oh, I know where we are now. Okay, come on, Brian. No, he made me go and check. I said, well, down over the hill. I says, I know down over the hills is the main road. I says, I can tell you that now. So I had to wait and coax him down. We go down the hill. We come out of the woods. And it's still kind of fogged as to which right or left on the road. Are you going this way in the road, or you go that way in the road? Anyway, I can hear feedback. Must be mine's too loud.
Might be.
Okay, well, I'll turn the speaker down a little. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we come out of the woods, and I seen which way the car went by, and I think we go this way. I think we hang a left and then go to the car. So we follow the road, and it was at least a quarter of a mile or better that we were off. But, and here's the kicker on it, we were actually, instead of this side where we should have been at the car, we were actually a quarter mile away going out of the place, and we never turned to go that way. We turned to come back.
Yeah.
So when we come back with Dan and Jim, my friend there, he would not get. Dan will tell you, he would not leave the car. He says, I am not going back in there. He says, I'm not going back in those woods. He was that scared. I said, I don't blame him.
Understand that.
Huh?
He wanted you to give him your car keys.
Yeah.
So he could leave.
Oh, he was scared.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've seen people. I've seen people scared.
I bet I've been scared too, but I wouldn't want to leave.
Well, I'll tell you
I
what.
say I don't get scared, but I get a little afraid. I don't get totally scared. I get a little afraid. But the time I saw that Bigfoot, I got totally scared. So.
Well, I understand.
But with now back in 99 to 2001, I can't remember what year. But now Corky's research said I got hit with. I went through a portal. I'd say I got hit with infrasound. But from what you just said, I'm going to lean more toward Corky because um, I lost time. I lost direction. I was going. Instead of going south, I went west. I ended up west, 3/4 of a mile away from where I was going, and I was bear hunting. So something happened there. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking I walked through a portal because I don't know. I lost track of time. And I did not know where I was at. And I'm looking around like, where am I? And I see this other hunter coming up the hill toward me. And I'm like, can you tell me where Bear Cave Cabin's at? And he goes, 3/4 mile that way. How did I get down here when I was going that way? So I says, yeah,
It turns you around.
It did. It turned me around. But I did get hit with infrasound last year, which felt totally different than that.
Now, what's infrasound?
Infrasound is like I got real lightheaded, sick of my stomach, weak knee. It's
okay. I understand what you're saying.
Larger predators use infrasound to make it easier to attack their prey. So, from what you said and with what happened to me, it's very good possibility that I did step through a portal. But I don't know. I can't say for sure. It's been 20 to 23 years since that happened. And that still had me confused up till I started reading up on infrasound and studying up a little bit on it from when the last time it happened to me. So, Denny, that makes sense. Thank you. You added more questions to my way of thinking.
Well, the funny thing is, when I'll go up there to set cameras, I'll always call my wife and tell her where I'm going to be. In this one time, I mean, this thing opens up. It's not like once in a blue moon. It's probably opens up a lot more than what I understand because it just does because of the pictures I've gotten back of things that don't make sense. But I was up there with
Your
my friend
pictures.
Jim. Yes. I was up there with my friend Jim, and we were setting a camera up there. Now, you've probably seen I have a big red backpack, real bright red, that I carry around. Well, we were up there putting a camera up, and wasn't the first time it's happened, but we hung this thing on a tree. It was not during the summer. It was either the spring or the fall when there was hardly any leaves or anything on these trees and bushes. And I said, okay, we'll hang this here and then we'll go. Because when I do this, I'll take this ribbon, pink, red, whatever color the ribbon may be, and I tie it around the trees so I can see them as I go along. Okay, so wherever I go, I know these ribbons there, and when I see them, I know I'm close. So we did that, and we walked to the one area and everything, set the camera up, turned around to come back, got to the last ribbon I put up and looked towards where we're supposed to be. It took us almost 2 hours of wandering just to find that backpack. And then all of a sudden, there it was. There it was. Jim said, that's amazing. He says he believes that there's something going on too. I mean, because this was hanging up, so it's about eye level, so there's no reason we could not find that. We could not find that backpack. It took us almost 2 hours to find that backpack and get the hell out of there.
That's crazy.
And this happens.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I'm going to tell you. I just have to tell you one more about that area. And then, if anybody's got questions, please, type it in and go for it.
Yeah, but really.
This happened the same area that scared the hell out of Brian. I went in there. It was summer. It was a fireman's jubilee down in a place they called Sheffield. And it was the last night, and it was a firework night, the whole 9 yards. I went in there. I had a 6-volt light with a brand new battery. I had a newly rechargeable light, and I had a shaker light. This is going to blow your mind when I'm telling the story, but this actually happened, and my wife will verify that I was able to communicate with her the whole time this thing was open, and it doesn't happen when it's just normal. So I'm in there, and all of a sudden I can see where I come in is disappearing. And I thought, oh, shit, here we go. So the sun had gone down, but it was still daylight out. Okay. So I'm there, and I whip out the 6-volt light to see if it's working, check the light, turn that damn light on, brand new battery, the wrapping's still in the car, turn that damn thing on. I even checked it before I went into the woods, and just as bright as could be. I watched that light like someone had a dimmer switch on it, just go, gone. Battery was dead. So I turned on the shaker, the rechargeable light. I watched the same thing happen, just like someone turned on the dial, and you seen that thing fade right out. I thought, oh shit. The only thing I had was a shaker light, and I think that contributed to saving my butt. So I called my wife, and I told her what went on. Like I said, you can call, but during the date when that thing's closed, you'd be damn lucky to get any. It was crystal clear, just like she was right next door to me talking. And I'm telling what's going on. Oh, now it's almost pitch dark, pretty close. Well, I would say it was pitch dark, and the only thing I had was a shaker light. I had no idea which way to go. None what okay. So I went the way I thought I should be going. Well, I didn't realize how far off it's going to put me by following it. But it is pitch dark now. I have a shaker light. And this is what gets scary. I can promise you was scaring the hell out of me, because I'm all by myself. I didn't have a weapon. The only thing I had was a walking stick.
Right.
So I'm walking along, and I can hear this, shake the light. And they're only good for about 10, 15 feet. And then you might as well kiss your butt, good guy, because you can't see any farther. I'm walking along, and I'm thinking, okay, if you're out there, Bigfoot, or if you're out there, somebody, shaman, whatever might be out there that might help me. I says, guide me out. I need help. I don't know where the hell I'm at. I said, I'm not even on a path. I don't know where. Well, it's a path, but I don't know where the hell it was, because it's. So I'm walking along, and I could hear this boom, boom. I'd stop. It stopped. I'd start walking, and you hear the twigs and branches breaking behind me, off the side there. I thought, oh boy. Okay, I said, Bigfoot. I said, help me out, buddy. He says, I know it's you now. Because the best way, if you think you're being followed by one and he's close, is take a couple steps real quick and stop. And if you can hear another foot or two going down, damn well that thing's not too far from you. Well, it wasn't too far from me. Now I'm talking, and I'm just, frazzled up a little. I said, I need help. I said, I'm talking to my wife on a phone, and she says, well, I'll see if I can get Jim to come. I said, well, I called Jim. I said, hey, crystal clear call. He didn't believe I was calling him from where I said I was calling him. I said, but I was. So next thing I know, I'm walking. It maybe about a half hour wandering around like I didn't know where the hell I was, which I didn't. I said, okay. I says, please, whoever's there, or if it's alien brothers or whatever you might be, I said, I need some kind of, help me find my way out. I said, shine a light, anything. I don't care. Now this actually happened. And she was listening to me. I said, oh my God. She said, what happened? What happened? I said, you aren't going to believe this. I said, neither you probably. I said, all of a sudden, I swear to you, it happened. She was listening on the other end. I said, the whole area lit up like someone threw a bank of floodlights on. I said, I could see all 360 around me. I said, there's no lights up here. I'm thinking, I'll take it. I go down and I find the circle area. I walked down to the circle area and I knew where it was. And I said, thank you. I got into the circle area. I said, thank you. The damn lights went up. I don't know where the light was coming. I walked down the thing. I'm telling my wife as I'm going down the hill, as soon as I hit the road, the phone completely went dead. Zero, nothing.
Wow.
I get back to the car and when I'm greeted by the sheriff, what are you doing in these woods at this time of night? I said, is something wrong? He said, no, what's going on? He says, what are you doing? I said, well, I was walking in the woods and I said, all of a sudden, I says, I don't know. I had no idea what, and I tried to explain to him, but he was watching. He watched. They have some kind of a security system that you can't see up there because when this stuff goes on, they're able to know where you're at. I mean, he must have known I was coming out because his car was in front of mine, and he had the lights, his four-ways blinking. Huh. It's like, okay, what's going on? But
did Nikki call him?
No. Well, that's another story. It's okay. Oh, I could ramble on all damn night. And Dan could tell you, I can ramble all night of the things that I've seen and did. But it is so strange, the stuff that goes on up there. Now that I'm getting older, sometimes, and I have to apologize, sometimes I'll have to add a detail. I mean, right. Not add something that wasn't there, but I have to re-go in my mind and make sure,
Yeah, got it all. Right.
Yeah.
And well, Dan has been a lot of witnessing up there. Yeah, believe me, I'll be up visiting with you too, and investigating up there because there is a lot of strangeness up there.
I got a call coming in here. I'm just going to mute it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I got Dan to cover me. Right, Daniel?
Amen.
But yeah, with all honesty, some of that stuff that happens up there is so unexplainable. Like that, how it lit up the sky for him. Some sort of energy. That's just, I don't know, that's crazy.
I've been up there. I've always heard more questions than answers.
Yes,
it's definitely a strange place.
Yes, and we've had, I had some strange experiences down in the Laurel Highlands, but that's unexplainable too. But there's so much more going on up around Kinzu. And Denny showed me a lot and told me a lot when I was up visiting before the Youngville conference. Other ones told me about weirdness going on up there. So, the thing is, I don't think we'll all get the answers we want anytime soon. Like the,
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Bill.
um, even though I'm very impatient, you know, that's the thing, very impatient. And I'd like to find out right now, but I know that'll never happen. And
Hello,
oh, he's back.
I'm
And
back.
like I was just telling Dan, there's so much going on. I had a lot of weird experiences in the Laurel Highlands. Now, you had so much more going on up there than I did in Laurel Highlands. And I'd love to have all kind of answers, but we ain't gonna get them. Not in my lifetime. Not the answers I want. You know, the portals, that bright light that happened for you. Um, you know, man, I want to know why we're getting these portals, and they're not letting us go from. Yeah, we might be going in another dimension for a little bit, but not long enough to understand what we're doing. And a lot of times our
Right.
minds are not
Compensating for it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just some really crazy crap, you know. And I know it's out there, and I know it's doing it, but
I think that possibly some of them are natural occurrences that we may or may not, and when I say we may or may not, I'm talking about the government, may or may not understand. But you bet your bottom dollar that our government is researching and experimenting with opening up portals, vortexes,
yep.
parallel dimensions, whatever you want to call it. And that could be a direct result of what we are experiencing.
Well, look at the vortexes they found out in the middle of the ocean. You can't tell me any of these governments are not have something to do with studying them or getting involved with them in the whole 9 yards. There's no way that our government is not jumping over that. Ours, Russia, China, any of them. You know, yeah, it's just crazy. You know, I don't know. It's just like I said, it just blows my mind at all that's going on in that one area in our great state of Pennsylvania. That one area got so much different activity. And Denny's living in the middle of it.
Yeah, and I'm willing to share it with you, but no one wants to come up. Well, I mean, you want to come up, but you live too far away to. I've discovered if you go up there, and it's like maybe twice a week, you know, and you do it constantly, sooner or later you're going to see all this stuff going on.
Right.
It's hit and miss. You know, when
I'm
I was a young
to plan
guy,
a week.
Go ahead.
I'm hoping to plan a week to get up there, 1 week, and so we can get up in there and study it as much as we can in that week. I know that there's a lot to cover in that week, you know, and try to figure things out, and hopefully things do come to fruition of, you know, the portals or the Bigfoot or.
Well, I hope you get to see them, but I don't.
Yeah, I know. Or like your game cameras, those pictures, time stamped at the same time, dated the same time, and things are moved. You know, stuff like that. Yeah, like that night you and me sat there and I was going through those pictures saying, this is totally blowing my mind. I can't figure this out. I got to figure it out. Norm says he'll do the week trip with us. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Because
Dan will do a couple days anyway with us, won't you?
Amen, brother.
yep. Um, I don't like to have a big crew up there.
But well, just 3. We could split into 2.
The 4 of us, maybe 5 of us, to be up there and to go through this. Another one I would probably bring up with me. There would be one other one. I'll have to ask him. I'm not going to say his name out here right now, but he's in the really investigating pretty good, and I will definitely ask him if he'd like to go for that week. When we could all plan it together so we can go and do this. It won't be till next year, of course. You guys all know the situation's going on around here that I can't do it right now. But, next late spring, early summer, maybe we'll go up in there.
Well, actually, before every year, I want to get you to the place. Is every year, just after they lower the dam, and just before they raise it, there's a place. It's called Red Bridge, and it's almost a given that you're going to find foot tracks going through that area. Bare feet. I don't know to say that somebody let their kid barefoot in there. I mean, there's broken bottles, there's fish hooks, there's different things that.
What time of year is this?
Right now is part. They lower the dam after they start lowering the dam after Memorial Day. No, I'm sorry, Labor Day. But this year it's been so dry that it pretty much been. It's low enough now to where you'll find the tracks if there's anything across it right now. That's where all my foot tracks and casts come from.
Okay.
It's the other
so
thing.
So now I got to make 2 trips.
No, we can make it in one. We can make it in one. We could actually probably camp out at this area because you can drive down to it, but you can't drive into it. Well, now you can actually drive into it because someone moved the rocks. It's an old access road. It goes from one side to the other to where you can actually drive down and drop your stuff off and back it up. I mean,
wait a minute. I said so I can make 2 trips. That's 2 different investigations. Do that week-long one, then spend another one.
Oh, I was just trying to save you a trip.
Yeah. What do you think, Dan? I'm all game for that because so much is happening up there, and it's going to take more than a week to try to find stuff. And we get Norm.
You better believe it.
We get Dan, you, me. All right. I don't know if he's listening. TJ Seaman. I want him to come up with us.
All right. Like I said, we can't have too many. The reason you can't because you know the basic thing is if you get too many making noise, then it doesn't come around.
That's why I said 5 of us. We're going to split up anyhow.
5, 6 guys. You can, if you say 6 guys, you can either break up into 3 teams of 2 or 2 teams of 3. But
either way,
I don't think any more than 6 would probably be too much.
No,
as long as we break it up, because one could stay up at where I put the cameras and it got lost. One can stay in the other. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 different areas up that we could actually camp. When I first got into this shit, I was in my early 20s. And started discovering this shit up here. Of course, my cousin at the time, he knew about this shit, but never said a word to me. I was going in there blind, and this shit was going on, and I'm scratching my head, and what the hell's going on, But somehow they knew this was the government knew that I was in there investigating. And I had a friend that worked for the fire department, and he did the same thing. He was into this stuff with Kinzu Dam. And one day he called me, says, I have to tell you this. I says, someone told me to tell you this and told me to tell you this is a warning to leave it alone. You don't need to know what's going on up there. And this was from he said it was a state trooper that told him to give me the message. So same area. I'm coming out one night. It's 10 o'clock. The only thing I had was my walking stick, and I'm coming out all by myself. And there's a car parked beside mine. And all of a sudden the spotlight hits me, and the guy, I get down the hill. He says, "Hey," calls me by name. Of course, he used my nickname. He said, "Vig." I said, "Yeah, what's up?" Then I knew it was. See, the guards at the prison had a softball team, so he knew me from playing softball. And the one happened to be a relative of my wife. He says, "Come here." So I walk over to the car. I'm standing probably about 3 feet away. He says, "Closer." I says, "What do you got in your backpack?" "Nothing." He says, "What do you have in your backpack?" I said, "Nothing." He says, "Do you mind if I look?" I said, "Here." He goes through it, looks in the backpack, gives it back. He says, "Come close." I says, "I'm only a foot away." He says, "No, put your head," motion me to stick my head inside the car. Basically, he didn't say put your head in there. He says, "Come here." He says, "Now I'm going to tell you something." He says, "And we'll never repeat or say that we said that." He says, "No way. We're going to say you're lying." I said, "Okay, what's the scoop?" He says, "You listen well what I'm going to tell you. When we're on patrol, if we have to go to the bathroom," he says, "we don't go here. We go across the street." He says, "Do you understand that?" I said, "Yeah, I understand that." I said, "Don't bother me. I'll go over here." He said, "No." He says, "I'm trying to tell you something." Excuse me. He says, "If you're going to be in this area at night," he says, "word to the wise," and I got 2 warnings after that. "If you're going to wander this area at night," he says, "you need a gun." I says, "What do I need a gun for?" He says, "I'm not talking about a 22 pistol." He says, "I'm talking about something that's going to take a bear down." I said, "Why?" He says, "That's all I'm going to tell you. Do not," he says, "I'm telling you now, do not wander this area without a gun." I said, "What did you see?" He says, "That's all I'm telling you." He says, "Be very cautious and make sure you have something to down a bear when you're in these." Excuse me.
He wasn't allowed to say.
No.
He wasn't allowed to say. That's awesome.
Well, down the road, I had a relative. It worked with this guy in the sheriff's department, like I said, and he says, he says, "I'm going to tell you the same thing he told you. We were at one of our Christmas parties or something. Don't go in those woods by yourself. If you're by yourself, you got to have something that's going to down a bear." I said, "What the hell's in these woods that you're telling?" He says, "That's all I'm telling you." So they know what's in there. And I don't know. I've like I said, I've seen stuff that if you hadn't been there to see it yourself, you would have thought I was pulling your leg.
Like that one creature. I don't know if I really want to see it or not. I want to see the pictures. That's for sure. I don't know if I want to see that thing in person.
I don't think I agree with Dan. I don't think I'd want to be there by myself seeing that thing. I'd have that gun pulled. I carry a gun now. I carry a gun because I'm just too old. I can't outrun shit.
Yeah.
Shit's probably faster than me when it drops. But
hey Bill.
Yes, sir.
You after your show here this evening, send me your email address.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll look that picture up that we were talking about here, and I'll send it to you.
All right. I'll send
Unless
it
you
to
already
that
have
and No, I don't already have it.
I think it's on Strange Kinzu under it won't be under photos, it'll be under what are something else that it involves, programs. It's not under
I'll send
photos.
you in Messenger. I'll send you my email.
Okay. Denny, did you tell him about the picture that you took of the creature that crawled out of the reservoir?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't tell him about that. You'll be amazed, Bill. I think.
All right, wait a minute.
Also.
Wait 1 second. Tim Gayhart asked, "What have you seen in that area, and what did it look like? If you have." Tim came in a little late. This thing has looked prehistoric. Is bipedal, prehistoric, alien looking. It was just some weird looking creature. He's sending me the picture, Tim, and I will share with you too. Tim's an investigator from Western Ohio.
I see.
We from everything that Dan was explaining to me about it, it gave me the chills and made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Just him talking about it. It's messed up. Yeah, and it's interesting. And like I said, I don't want to see that creature in person, but I definitely going to look at it.
I don't want to see it alone either, but I mean, I'm glad the camera caught it.
Yes.
Probably make you soil your britches.
Yeah. No, that Bigfoot almost did that to me. I think that definitely would. Jeez, man. That's just crazy. All right, go ahead with your story there.
Well, anybody got any questions besides? Well, you want to know what other creatures I've seen up there? I've seen a family of Bigfoot, and there's no doubt because that was daylight, and that was about 40 or 50 feet away from me when they come around the bend. And then Dan and I got a friend that was up here. We won't mention his name because he asked not to ever any. We were up there about 3 years ago, and they were doing some work around the upper dam, and they had a porta potty out there. I probably shouldn't be talking about porta potty, but yes, I had to do, I had to do my duty. So I went in there and I told them, follow the path that goes along the water, the dish up there. I says, and I'll come down. I no sooner got in there and sat down, and I hear cross the pavement. Now this pavement is big enough for 2 cars side by side, and I only heard 2 steps. That was it. Bing, bang. And it was heading towards him. So I'm coming down, and I just get around the first turn, and here he comes. He's just a speed walking. I said, I told you I'd meet you down there. There's a picnic bench down there you could have sat on waiting. He said, I ain't going down there. I says, what's wrong? He says, I come around that one bend, and he says, there it stood right on the blacktop. We were looking at each other. He said it had to be 7-8 foot tall. And he said, he looked at me for a split second. He turned around and walked in the woods. And he said, that was all. He says, if you want to stay up here somewhere, he says, not here. So we had to go somewhere else. I mean, daylight, if you're in the right place, daylight up there, you'll see them. I've had dozens experience. You want to hear a funny thing? I have to tell you this. I've got a couple funny stories, but this, I was up here with this guy, and we were up, beyond the circle. There's a path you go down, and then you cut to the left, and it goes out to like a dead end. but it takes you a while to walk it, probably about 15, 20 minutes or so, or maybe more. So we went up there and we're there and we heard some knock, a knock or two, and didn't think nothing of it. So we're up there. Now he stayed in one spot and I walked to another spot, and it's getting dark. I had the 6-volt light with me. It's getting dark, and I said, okay, I'm heading back. I called for him. I was within shouting distance of the guy, and I called for him. And I started back. I had to relieve myself. I had to whiz. Like I said, I shouldn't be saying it, but I had to whiz.
Yeah.
And so off the path, there's big rocks. I went in behind a rock, but before I went behind a rock, I sat my stuff down on a smaller stone. I set my flashlight, and I had a Steelers shirt because I was hot. I had a Steelers sweatshirt on. And this is the funny part because it's like a running joke. So get done, come back. It wasn't even a minute, and I come back out, and like I said, there was noise and stuff, but it's the sun had gone down, so I'm heading back. So I get there and I get back there, and where the hell did I put my shirt? Where the hell did I put my flashlight? I couldn't find either one of them. To this day, I never found them. So the running joke is the guy said, well, we'll know if it's the Bigfoot that took your shirt. He said, there's got to be a Bigfoot running around with a Steelers shirt on and a flashlight holding it. I said, I never did find the shirt of the hat.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Tim has seen several Bigfoots in the daytime, and he's seen 3 at nighttime. So,
even three at night?
Yeah. So, Tim got some great pictures too. He does.
I have never gotten any pictures of Bigfoot, but I've got foot casts, but sooner or later.
The one I saw, I wasn't thinking about taking a picture, man. He was only 15 feet from me. It's like, my God, I'm dead. But
well,
I
the
like
funny
that
thing
now,
is,
but it did scare the hell out of me.
Well, you think about it, when you come face to face with something like that, the last thing you're thinking is whip the camera and take a picture. Your legs are going one way, and your body's going the other way. It's like, oh,
and your mind's going every way.
Yeah, you lose your mind, like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. But anyhow, it's been
Dan.
an hour. You going to say something, Dan?
No, go ahead.
All right, it's been about an hour and a half now, Denny.
You ready to go then?
Yes, sir.
I got more if you want to hear
it. We're going to have you on again here soon. Probably toward closer to Thanksgiving, if we can.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Can I tell you one more story before you go?
Yes, you can.
This involved my wife and I. We were up in that area. We camped out. Now this happened, and to this day she refuses. She don't even set foot in this area, daytime or nighttime. We pulled in. We're camping. My cousin was up there with his girlfriend, and it's about midnight, and we're going to get ready to go to sleep. He was over in his car. I threw the last of the logs on the fire. Now, we had my mom and dad's 4-wheel drive Bronco, the big one, the big one,
Yeah.
So we pulled into this level area. I set the brake. I put a rock in front of the wheel and one in the backside, opposite, and one front and one back. We throw our blankets out. The fire is probably really bright and burning nicely. There's no reason for anything. We're laying there. We had the tailgate down, and our heads are the tailgate was just, over the top of our heads. We're laying there, and all of a sudden, bam, here comes a 4-wheel drive. We were looking at the pumpkin of that 4-wheel drive. Something hit the front end of that and pushed it over the top of us. And she said, "That's it. I'll stay inside, but I'll never come out there." And so we could see the skid marks from the rocks where the rocks had pushed. You have to figure
right.
at least it pushed us at least a foot over our heads. There was no marks. There was no tree that hit it. Nothing fell out. We looked for down trees. There was no down trees. We heard nothing take off and go away, but we were making tracks into that 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, that'd make me get in it too.
To this day, we have no idea what the hell hit the front of that and was able to push that damn big thing over the top of our head like that.
That's a 7,000 pound vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know if it was a vortex that opened up. It was a big one. It was the big ones.
Yep.
So I'm done. But if anybody wants to know anything, you can go into Strange Kinzu. I'll try to get those pictures in there because you'll like the ones I sent Dan. You didn't get to see is there's a bright light. It lit up the whole area. They come on the picture, and it took 5-6 shots, and the cameras are set to take them, in sequence, like bing, 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 like that.
Right.
You can see you can see the bear as it's moving until it gets to the end and out of sight. But it was so bright. It was I do believe it was a night. And I've had the camera during the daytime up there take nighttime shots to where, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's broad daylight, and then it goes from the color to the black and white.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a couple of those pictures like that you had. It's being colored and it's black and white, and it's daytime because it's timestamp, and the timestamp and the date is all the same at the same time.
Yep.
It's weird.
It's weird because it's actually the last time I went up, and then I'll shut up. Last time I went up, she made sure that the date, the timestamp, and the date everything was legit. And we come back, and it took. Well, it was up there like a week, 2 weeks, I think it was. I took over 100 pictures, and there was 20 of them or better that had the same time and date stamp. But if there was a deer here, the deer moved. It's impossible. Or if it was a tree, the tree might have been center. Now the tree's clear to hell over here, almost out of the picture.
All right, wait a minute, Denny. For the people that don't understand about the trail cam, it gives even the second. It gives the hour, the minute, the second, and the date. So you know exactly when these pictures were taken. And I mean, it's right down to the second. And you got different things going on there. And it's the same. It takes 2 pictures and 2 different things happening.
One more thing. The time was good, but the date was supposed to be 2022. When those pictures come out, they were 2015, 2016.
16.
Impossible. How the hell how did it get changed?
And the other ones, even after that, went back to 2022, if I remember right.
Yep. And then after whatever went on, they went right back to the original. So I'm done. I'll shut my mouth now.
But anyhow,
I want to thank you, Bill, for letting me join in this evening. Total surprise, and
we caught you off guard on that one.
Thank you for letting me horn in on your podcast here. It was a pleasure, and keep them coming, Bill. You're good, and
we're getting
really
it there. And I'm going to have both you guys back on. Probably it's going to be closer to Thanksgiving. We'll get the dates together because you guys done a lot of investigating up there together, and I know we can get a lot more information. Thank you, Jimmy Buteris, said we did a great show, guys. Now, I definitely want you both back on again. Dan, you know you're always welcome to be on anytime. You know, but the thing is, we got to learn so much more from you guys about up there. You know, you guys got a wealth of information from that. You guys have been in that situation up there. I'm going to be in that situation. I'm putting myself in that situation. And Denny, thank you very much for sharing everything.
Guaranteed you'll come home with more questions than answers.
Oh, I'll guarantee it. I'll guarantee it.
Who knows, with a little luck? Who knows, with a little luck, we might see a couple UFOs or Bigfoot, or better yet, have that thing open up and be stuck in, you know.
Oh, yeah, in there. Just open up so I can get some pictures in there.
I don't know if you'll be able. I don't know. Well, yeah, you have to, because the trail cam's taking pictures when that thing opens up. That has to be what's going on.
Yes. So, but other than that, hey, thank you. And for everyone that came and listened and the questions and everything, we thank you for joining in with us. It's been fun, and I'm going to have these gentlemen back. I'll guarantee it. They got so much more information for us.
Yep. And Strange Kinzu, you can write your questions. I can answer them on strangekinzu.com.
Yes. And he definitely will. And join his page. And we'll keep a fire under his butt to get all his pictures put up, which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But Denny, again, thank you. Yeah. Denny, thank you again. And Dan, thank you for a spur of the moment. We threw you in here with us. Me and Denny were saying, hey, let's get Dan. So
anytime, Bill. Anytime.
And I'll be sending you the email address for me.
All right, and I can send you the pictures.
Yep. I sent you my email already, Denny. You were supposed to send me pictures.
Okay.
Yes. It's in Messenger.
See, that's probably, I haven't looked in Messenger yet. Okay.
See, he's ignoring me. I see how.
Who?
He's like you acting like my wife. Ignore me.
I'm not ignoring you.
I know better than that. Yes, I will put a link.
Okay, well, thank you for having us.
Hey, thank you. And I'm going to put your link on my page to your group for Strange Kinzu. I'll put the link up there. Thank you, Norm, for telling me to do that. But all right, guys, and everyone out there, thank you.
See you, Norm.
Very much.